Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is Exploring Esperanto, and today, finally, my main man and I, we are gonna objectify some women. What? What do you mean grammatically? Oh, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry, you guys are stuck with him, okay? I'm gonna be at the Shake and Bake with Bebop and Rebop. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Peace out. I'm so sorry about that. That was my identical half-step twin brother, Ducius Malfoy. He can be a little hard to work with at times. I think he might have misread some of the notes I was working on. When I say objectifying women, I really mean that we are using women as objects, direct objects, indirect objects, and all of the examples that we're looking at today. Today's lesson really is about indirect objects in particular. I see a lot of people misunderstanding the rules in Esperanto, especially if they're coming from primarily speaking English, that they go, oh, okay, well, I can kind of treat them like direct objects sometimes. And yeah, they get them mixed up and they just don't understand it because they're allowed to get away with playing fast and loose with certain rules in English, because in English, word order is king and it clarifies things for us. Whereas in Esperanto, it's the structure of the word itself that really does say a lot and let us know what you're actually trying to convey or communicate. Let me show you what I mean. Word form versus word order. In English, John loves Susan. Susan loves John. Two different scenarios, very clearly given simply by changing the word order. John comes first, he's the doer. Susan's last, she's the recipient. John is the one who is loving Susan, not the other way around. In Esperanto, that's not what matters. Not 1, 2, 3. It's because you can rearrange the words in any way you want. The important thing is where the N is, the accusative. That tells you where the recipient is of the sentence. So, oh, I see. Susano is the one with the N at the end, Susanon, so she's receiving it. So Johano must be doing the loving. So, Johano amas Susanon. Clearly, John loves Suzanne. No matter what way we do it, it could be Susanon amas Johano or amas Susanon Johano, and it would all mean the same thing. Okay, great. So what? Well, bear with me. We're going to use she instead of Susano, just to save some space for the rest of these. So she is the subject form. So she amas mean is she loves me. Me amas sheen, put an N at the end and it becomes the object of the sentence, the recipient. So me amas sheen is I love her. But I don't want you to just think, oh, okay, if I need to use her, I'll just put the word sheen in there, because that's going to get you into trouble in a minute. A lot of people just learn, okay, there are subjects and there are objects. So as long as I learn the subject form and the object form, I'm good to go. Well, no, you're not, because there's a kind of a subcategory here of, there's direct objects and there's indirect objects. And this indirect object here is all she, which is technically like a prepositional phrase, and it's the subject of the prepositional phrase, so it's like a subject within an object. But just think of indirect objects are all she, direct object, sheen. Okay? Wonderful. And let me show you how it matters and where it's important. If I said in English, I gave to her a book. That's a little overly formal, but fine. Okay? Yeah, you gave to her a book. But you'd also say, and you'd more likely just say, I gave her a book. You'd shave off the word to, and no one would think the less of you for it. And all would be well in English. But in Esperanto, you'd get into trouble if you tried to word for word translate that. Mi donis al shi libron. That is the correct way to say this sentence. That's why I wrote it here. I don't want to write out all the wrong ways, because then you'll see it and go, I've seen it somewhere in print. No, it was a bad example. So I'll say out loud the wrong ways. You might think, oh, if I took that off and took off the to and just said, I gave her a book, oh, mi donis shi libron. No, that's wrong, because what's the subject? Is me the one? Am I the one who gave it, or is she the one who gave it? You just have a dangling she in there. That's no good. Would you say mi donis sheen libron? Well, I can't tell who's giving and what's being given, and who's being given to, because it's likely I'm giving a woman a book, But I could be giving a book, a woman, maybe the book god that I'm bowing down to, and here's a virgin to sacrifice to you, O book god. I could be, and it's grammatically confusing there. So that's why we don't intermix. We don't do double duty here and say, oh yeah, sheen, libron, they could both be indirect, direct object, whatever. No. The direct object is going to have an N at the end. The indirect object is going to have all in front of it, okay? So all she, all li, all ili, whatever, but it's going to have an all there. And you can't shorten it to, give it a cool nickname or anything like that. No, you can't, no. All blank, okay? Let me show you where that matters and where you're more likely to forget this rule. Because when you see a direct object and an indirect object side by side, you're more likely to realize the traffic jam is there and go, hey, I shouldn't be doing this, should I? Mi donis sheen libron. That's going to confuse someone. But if you didn't have to do both direct and indirect object, then you might forget about the potential down the road confusion. For example, mi demandis al she ion. I asked her something. Yeah, I asked her something. Well, no, wait a second. I wouldn't say I asked to her something. You wouldn't in English. But in Esperanto, you have to. You have to say mi demandis al she ion. You can't say mi demandis sheen ion. You can't do it. Let me show you another example. Mi montris al she viron. I showed to her a man. But what if you just want to shorten that down? Oh, you showed her? Yeah, I showed her. Okay, I showed her. If I wanted to say that I showed her, I couldn't just say mi montris sheen. And I've seen people do this a lot in Esperanto. I'm like, oh, no, technically what you're saying there is you displayed her. So here, if I said it in a shorter way, I could say mi montris lin. I showed not her, but him. So you see that? Because these two match and are equal and is what I would assume you were saying. And I think it's helpful for you to remember montri equaling both to show and to display so that you don't accidentally do that. Because when you say mi montris something on, then you're saying I showed off her is what you'd really be saying. Not just, oh yes, I demonstrated for her. Okay? So, mi montris al she is what you would say in the shorthand of, yeah, I showed her. Mi parolas al she Esperanton. I am speaking Esperanton to her. Mi parolas gin. I speak it. I speak Esperanto. That is the direct object, is the language that you speak. So the only time you would say mi parolis sheen is if you were speaking of Esperanto or French or something as if it were a lady. Like, oh yes, French is a fickle mistress. I speak her every day. Then maybe you could say mi parolas sheen. But I had someone ask me the other day, like, oh yeah, can I just say, instead of mi parolas al she, mi parolas sheen? No. And they're like, well, what about you're facing her, you're speaking toward her, isn't that motion towards? So it's like parolas sheen. Nice try. Interesting angle you're coming at there. But no, you can't do that. You're not really actually taking steps closer to her. That's actual motion towards, and the sound waves don't count there. So yes, because technically, like mi iras al she, mi veturas Londonon. I am driving to London. I could say Londonon instead of al Londono. But that rule doesn't apply here. With indirect objects, which when you're speaking to someone that's an indirect object, then it's just different, okay? So the short answer here is no, don't ever do that. Don't say mi parolas sheen unless sheen represents a language, because the direct object is the N word that's going to follow that verb, okay? Hopefully with this information, you won't ever subject me to the wrong object form in a sentence. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.